Welcome to Cybergreen's YouTube channel, and today we'll be going over how to make a FiveM server with RocketNode. Now, first, we want to navigate to rocketnode.net, which we're here. So, let's go on ahead and click on Game Hosting. After that, we want to click on FiveM. Then we'll be brought to their plan page where you'll see stuff for beginning servers such as starter or developer or premium, and then a little bit down the page, you'll see stuff for more advanced servers such as Premier and God tier. But for this demonstration, we'll be going with the Ultimate plan. So once you have chosen your plan, you can just click the Select Plan button. After this, you'll be brought to their billing website, which will have a few different choices for you. Let's first start with the first choice, which is the billing cycle, which comes in a monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually format. But for this demonstration, we'll be going with monthly. Here, you'll also find under that your panel name, which is the name that it shows up on our panel. Which for this, we'll be going with Lighthouse RP. After that, you'll want to click I understand on that box. Then we'll scroll down a little bit to additional services. So here you'll have their enterprise support, which is exquisite at being able to help you with almost anything that you really have to mind with your service or FiveM server in this case. Next, you'll have the script installation service, which is where they will install 5 scripts for you within a 24-hour time frame. And, this is relatively quick and seamless if you want to get 5 scripts installed very fast. But for this demonstration, we won't be using any of those additional services. So now we can click Continue. After this, you'll be brought to the checkout page where you'll see your product up there, your promotion code, which we already have a promotion code, which is Cyber25 to get 25% off your service. Kudos. And then you'll see a billing details, which is where you can make your account if you don't have an account already with us. You'll also be prompted to enter your payment information and everything else, but we don't need to make an account because we already have one provided. So now we want to scroll down to the bottom of the page and we'll want to choose I'm not a robot. Because if you're a robot, well, you shouldn't be watching this video. Next, we want to go on ahead and accept the terms of service because we're not violators. You will click the checkout button, but for us, we already have a service, so we don't need to. So now we're going to want to go over and go to RocketNode's website again, which is rocketnode.net if you forgot. After that, you want to click Login, then go to Game Panel. Here you'll enter your email and password, which is the same as your billing account information. Now, we are already logged in because we were pre-logged in. After that, you'll want to click on the server listed there, which there's only one. Now that we're on the panel, this is our server console page, where you'll be greeted with a start button, a restart button, and a kill it button if need be. You'll also be greeted by a display with jibba jabba most times when you're running your server, and a text input section. You'll also find your memory usage and CPU usage down in the corner if you need to. The next thing is File Manager. Here, you can edit text documents and probably Word documents if you need to. The next thing is databases. Databases, we'll come back to this, but it's essentially where important things happen. Now, schedules. Here, you can schedule your server to restart, start up, die, kill itself, or even edit files sometimes. This is just a simple test schedule. Here, you'll fill out the name and minutes, hours, and times that you need. After that, you'll click the Create Schedule button. Next is users. Here, we can add people to our panel to be able to access our servers. For this demonstration, we'll click New User and then input their name, which for this demonstration, you would input the person's email that you're sending it to, but for this demonstration, we'll input one of the RocketNode guys' email. Here, we will have permissions that we can give that person, such as console permissions, start permissions, and everything else. And it's very customizable on what permissions and what you want to give to the person. After you're done setting up permissions, we can go on ahead and click Invite User. After this, your friend should receive an email regarding how to set up their account and get access to your server. You can also edit their permissions and trash them if need be. Now we'll move on to the FiveM installer section. Here is one of RocketNode's greatest features. It's a pre-made installer for your server. Currently, they only have a vMenu and ESX server, but they do plan to add more in the future. For this demonstration, we'll be making a vMenu server, so we'll click Install on the vMenu. Now, their systems will process this, and it may take a little time. Now we'll move on to the next tab, which is the Backup tab. Here, we'll be able to make backups of your server files. Let's demonstrate this by clicking Create Backup, entering a backup name, and here you can also ignore files and lock the backup if you wish to. Now, we'll click Start Backup, and this will begin creating a backup on their servers. Now, we'll go to the Startup tab. Here, you'll be greeted by a bunch of information, but it will get easier the more you use it. Here, you'll have a FiveM license, a Max Players, server host name, FiveM version, and Steam Web API key, along with your TXadmin information. Now, before you start your server, you're going to make sure you have a FiveM license key. You can make one of these at keymaster.fivem.net. But for this demonstration, we already have one there, and it should be blurred out. Now, we'll move on to the next variable, which is the max player variable, which indicates how many people you want your server to have. The next thing is your server hostname. This is a very important variable, and if you forget it, someone will be very upset with you. This is the name of your server that shows up in FiveM, and you want to make sure you change this before you start your server as well, unless you want your server to be called My New FX Server. Next is FiveM version. This is recommended for advanced users, but here you would change it to the appropriate variable. Next is the Steam Web API key section. You'll most likely need this, so you'll want to retrieve it from the link right below it. You shouldn't mess with the TXadmin information. Now we'll go to the Settings tab. Here we'll have a SFTP information that you use for WinSCP and FileZilla. You'll also have node information along with your server ID and the ability to change your server name in the panel. Also, you'll have a reinstall button just in case you need to replace base files. Now, we'll go back to the Database tab. Here, we'll be greeted with a database, if you have one. Now, if you don't, you would click the Create Database tab, and that would make you a database. But for this demonstration, we already have one. So now, first, there's two ways to control your database. You can either do it through Heiligen SQL or through PHP MyAdmin. Now, we're going to do it through PHP MyAdmin. So we'll open a new tab and go to phpdirect.rocketnode.net. After this, we want to enter the database login information by copying the username and the password. And then we'll click Go. Here, you can manage your database and change certain things and whatever you need. Now, we'll go on ahead back to the panel, close out of this, and go to Console. Now, we'll start the server. Now, their services are pretty fast and excellent in starting servers, and this should only take like up to a minute. And even for the heaviest of script servers, it might take up to 2. Now that the server has started, we'll want to copy the IP address from the IP address section. Make sure not to copy the IP address text. After this, you'll want to go to FiveM on your computer. Wait for it to launch. Then you'll want to go on ahead, F8, type in connect, and then paste in the server IP. After that, click enter, and it will begin with the Discord Ace Perm, since this is a pre-made server. And you'll see this login screen that comes with the pre-made server as your server loads up. It's a very nice looking loading screen, by the way. Now, hopefully, your computer is faster than mine in some cases. Now, we'll wait for the game to load. Now, welcome to your server. Isn't it beautiful? Now, this pretty much means you're ready to go and start editing scripts, installing things, and messing around with your friends, buddies, cold-hearted, stupid people, and whatever tickles your fancy pretty much. Thank you for watching. This was Cybergreen.